Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Zero Gaming here, and today I would like to talk about the upgrade of the new upcoming unit, which is Yuri and Quistis. So I will be changing a little bit of my format to make it a little simpler instead of bombastic you with words and numbers. So I hope you enjoy the new upgrade here, and if you do have more upgrades or suggestions that you want to provide, do let me know down in the comments below. So let's go for it. Now, starting off the bat, we have Yuri. Yuri will be getting his new LD and his Crystal Level 90 upgrade. His skill 1 get a 2 HP attack right now with an AoE split, and it does gravity damage. His skill 2 does 3 HP attack, but it's a single target, and it extends all of Yuri's buff by 4 turns. Nothing too fancy about the rework here. His skill 1 and skill 2 basically just get more dumps. His skill 2 is still single target, his skill 1 is AoE split. So the idea here is to maintain his buff. His skill 1 it's not tied to any buff, but his skill 2 is tied to 1, and it will also extend the other buff by 4 turns. So essentially you only want to use skill 2 to extend the buff, but other than that you want to focus on skill 1 since it gravities and does AoE damage. I'll be talking a little bit more later about why I think skill 1 is more preferable than skill 2 in most situations. Following up next, he gets his new LD, which is a 4 split HP attack. It also changed his bravery attack. Okay, so this LD has an LD buff which provides 40% bravery damage up and 20% HP damage up, and applied a very new debuff which is called ring lock debuff every time Yuri attack the enemy. So this ring lock debuff started at first stack, which goes up slowly to 4 stacks maximum, and his bravery attack now is a new bravery attack which can trigger the trap at 3 or 4 stacks. So it'll provide at 4 stacks, it'll provide a 3 HP attack, which is split, and it's an instant turn attack. So the trap damage here, the trap applied by his LD here is quite interesting. It will be triggered either by expiration, or using Yuri's bravery attack to manually activate it, or maybe just if the boss cleans the debuff itself, it also activates the trap attack. So this trap attack, although it mentioned that it will be triggered upon expiration, but because Yuri always applied the trap for 6 turns every time he attacked the enemy, so this trap is very hard to expire. Essentially, you want to use his bravery attack to activate it manually, or if the boss cleans it, which is also quite rare. So in this situation, Yuri's bravery attack is actually a very new idea of activating the trap itself, but you only want to use it at 3 or 4 stacks like I mentioned to maximize the damage. Of course, the best way to use it is when you have 4 stacks to maximize the damage you have at 3 split HP attack. If you use it at 3 stacks, it will provide only 2 split HP attack. So really, it's either whether you want to maximize the damage or if you want more damage pouring in more consistently. His EX and his additional ability of course get upgraded as well. His EX now does a full HP attack dealt by 4 times, and it batteries the entire party based on 35% of the damage dealt, and of course recovers 1 use of his skill 1 and skill 2. Nothing too big of a difference, it's just more HP attack right now. His additional ability provides 20% bravery damage up and overflow, and 80% self initial bravery up, as well as extended up to 6 turns. His high armor is very suitable for he himself because it's selfish, which increases his own bravery damage limit and HP damage limit. So Yuri is basically a very selfish damage dealer. He has a very good self holy enchant and imperil damage, so in that particular damage itself, he'll always hit weakness as long as the boss doesn't absorb holy attack. You want to only focus on his skill 1 instead of skill 2 in most situations, because you want to build the his trap stacks on all the enemy instead of just 1. So that's particularly why you want to use his skill 1 preferably more than his skill 2. If you're trying to manually activate the trap damage using the bravery attack, remember each enemy can be activated once. So essentially, if you have more enemies present, you can use his bravery attack more than once since it's instant turn rate. Do remember that the instant turn rate only applies if you have 3 or 4 stacks on the enemy itself. If you have 2 stacks, it also goes off the trap attack with less HP attack and less damage, but it is also not instant turn rate as far as I can remember. I may be wrong there, do let me know if I'm wrong. Yuri also has his LD and skill 2 buff at quest start, so you don't have to use them right away to gain the buff. He only doesn't have his EX overhead, but his EX is started right at the bat, has a full recast, so you can use his EX right at the bat to gain his overhead stack. So overall, you just want to maintain his buff properly by using his skill 2, his LD and his EX. and normally it won't fall off with the right turn unless you're spamming his skill 1 without consideration. But other than that, Yuri is essentially very easy to use. So the problem with Yuri here is he's essentially just a selfish damage dealer for now. He doesn't provide too much damage in my opinion for a crystal level 90 unit. He only has 2 HP attack and 3 HP attack on his basic skill. He does have a very good bravery attack which trigger the trap damage, but it is only good if the trap can be built up, stacks up really fast, which also require Yuri to use his skill 1 and skill 2 to build that up. Yuri essentially also has quite a slow recast. He needs around 3 to 4 I think of his skill 1 and skill 2 to build up the EX recast gauge. So it's not entirely useful for Yuri to provide a very huge amount of damage with just him alone, especially the fact that another more better units are coming up later, which is quite fast. Even Titus himself has more HP attack and he's a turn hogger. So Yuri in that sense, if you ask for my opinion, I will actually wait out for his BT because that's where his damage really shines. The BT and the FR combination of his own actually brings up his damage a ton, so I would actually wait out until then to actually pull for him. So yes, that's my opinion on Yuri himself. Moving on from there, we have Quistis. I'm not sure whether you call her Quistis or Quistis or Quistis, but I'm calling her Quistis because I've been calling her that since the original game of Final Fantasy VIII. But essentially, Quistis actually doesn't get too much of an upgrade. Her skill 1 does have a 2 HP attack now, and it does 50% splash as usual and 1 turn to delay to all the enemy. Her skill 2 also now has 2 HP attack and is single target, and it delays by 3 turns, so nothing changes much except more HP attack. Her LD is still 2 full HP attack, 2 turns delay, and recover 1 use of her skill 2. The most upgrade she has is her EX, which now has 3 HP attack, 50% splash, and the best part of this is it delays the entire party by 1 turn, the entire enemy by 1 turn. So now having a delay that attached to her EX means that she doesn't only use her EX for the buff maintenance, but also to use it as a replacement for her skill 1 instead. Her additional ability recovers 1 use of her skill 1 and skill 2 similarly, but now it's 13 turns of 10% party overflow up and 20% party attack and brave damage limit up. So a little bit upgrade there. I like the 13 turns, but only because she still only has 1 usage of her additional ability, and hence the huge amount of turns that she has over there. 13 turns is actually quite nice. So Quistis herself doesn't have too big of an upgrade. You might think why I say that, because she actually has a lot of more HP dumps in her attack. But the brave attack from Quistis herself is not surprisingly very low. So even with more HP attack, she doesn't actually fully maximize the HP attack as well. So you're just not gonna care about that. You mainly want her because she's a very good delayer that ignores delay immunity. She's probably the only one that does that. She has more HP attack right now, but like I said, the damage doesn't justify the HP attack to be especially useful. She still have a very good reduced speed debuff, which is the speed down and turn rate down debuff, but it's sadly not framed. Other than that, you really like to have Quistis in your party because her alone is really useful as a delayer to the entire party. With the upcoming stages of we are having the 6-man party, I remember if is it called 6-man party thing, Quistis is going to be very important and essential to make the run a lot easier because of her role that she can delay the delay immunity unit. So you can essentially just bring her in, delay, and then bring her back out. So in that situation, Quistis is very darn useful. I think you should definitely pull for her if you didn't have her before. She's not gonna have her rerun anytime soon. I'm pretty sure in Shinyu she haven't get her FR character board yet, so she's not rerunning anytime in Shinyu era. The only issue I find with Quistis is when you're trying to use her in a stage where bosses are required to take turns. So essentially you are just killing yourself by bringing her because she specializes in not giving turns. So just don't use her at all in that kind of stages, but other than that, she's just very darn good. For example, one of the stages, the upcoming stages, which is Bahamut, Divine Bahamut. Divine Bahamut is essentially Quistis' favorite stage because it's a single target boss and it's delay immunity, so Quistis is just ignoring all of those restrictions. So yes, I think Quistis is definitely very useful. She will be good pairing up with Selfie. She's already good pairing up with Selfie now. She will be even better when Selfie get her crystal level 90 because Quistis spamming her skill 1 doesn't reduce the debuff any longer, which will just allow your party to launch without having too much of a worry. Quistis also make it a lot easier to run units like Dark Knight Assassins, where your launches relies on the enemies being far to maximize the launch damage so that your party can move in turns. Kai's, Dark Knight Assassins, all this actually has a very good pairing with Quistis herself. Even Cloud as well, even though Cloud himself has delay in his kit. But yes, Quistis is essentially a very good friend to most launchers. Even non-launchers can benefit a lot from Quistis as well. But just don't rely on her on damage. She's not there for that. She has a very good buff which provides Brave gain up to the entire party. And Quistis, when you're running Quistis, you don't want her aura to reduce by letting the enemy get turns, since her aura gets better when the enemy get less turn. So yes, Quistis, never let the enemy get any turns. Don't do that. Just don't. It's counterproductive. Alright guys, that's about it. I already have Quistis in my main account. I already blued her, so that's just how good she is. I mean, also part of it is because she has Final Fantasy VIII and I'm planning to blue all Final Fantasy VIII character. Next one will be Cypher. As for Yuri, I don't think his damage right now justify enough to go for him instead of waiting for his burst, which is really not too far ahead. So in my opinion, really, if you want to spend your resources wisely, he's a very good skip, which I will be doing in both my main and my alternate account. I'm not saying he's bad, it's just there's far better unit coming up just not too far ahead. For example, the Great Saiyan. Yeah. So thank you again guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new format and I try to better myself again in improving this commentary about this unit. Alright, so thank you guys. Let me know what your plan is in the comments down below. Consider subscribing to my channel if you like my content and liking the video. Thanks again guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.